Hey there, everybody. Welcome back to my show. This is Brandy J, Voices of Courage. And today I have here with me today Richard Flint, a man of greatness. No, really, you are great. And Richard here is the host of Let's Talk Human Behavior, right? Am I right? Did I
That
get
is correct. You got it.
Yay. But you do a lot of other things. Like you have an open mic seminar night you do.
Yeah, Brandy, we do every Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. We do an open mic where it's basically about an hour and 15 minutes. We lay out a question that is put out early in the week. And then I do a little monologue at 10, and then we open the mics, and everybody talks about the question. Like our question for this coming Friday is, what's the number one characteristic you think a leader should have?
Nice.
Because I'm of the conviction that leadership today is filled with a tremendous amount of misunderstanding and confusion.
Yep.
And we really don't have leadership today. We have people who are participating in confusion.
Yep. I agree. When I look at it, I look at our kids like they're like, no, please don't look at that as an example.
Yeah.
All that. You're completely right. I like that you
Yeah,
said
and
that.
for people to participate in it, they would just go to richardflint.com/live, and no, I'm sorry, backslash. This one is discussion, and they can sign up there. It's free. Doesn't
I'll,
cost them a penny.
I'll be right over. Love discussions. I'll be there. I'll be there definitely. Oh man, that's awesome. Okay, so you have 19 books, right?
Correct. It would, and working on 2 more right now.
Let me ask you. How long, if you don't mind me asking, over the course of time, has it taken you to do 19 books and now about to do it 21?
It's taken me basically 23 years to
23?
write the 19 books. Um, I enjoy writing. All of the books are about some level of confusion or conflict that humans go through. My expertise, Brandy, is in the world of human behavior. Um, I think that the real definition to truth is not what someone says; it's what they do. And there are 3 words that I'm known around the world for, and it's just my little philosophy: behavior never lies.
Hmm.
And when I used to live in the world of doing private counseling before I entered the world of traveling the world speaking to groups. And the thing that I learned is that most people want honesty as long as it's not honest. I can be honest about you, but I don't want to be honest about me. And a lot of times I don't want other people to be honest about me. And I'm sure you've been here, but someone comes to you and they ask you to be honest with them, and you give them the honesty. And the response is 2 things: not that honest, or they'll tell somebody else you were criticizing them. And if there is no honesty, there really is no communication. There's just 2 people sharing confusion.
Yeah, yeah. People don't know what honesty is. They think it's honesty. They're really saying, "Tell me what I want to hear," because people usually sugarcoat stuff for people
Yeah.
because they're scared of confrontation. It's like you can't handle the truth, but we should be able to.
Yeah. And people who aren't honest with you are really not your friends. They're people who are there who have a place in your life because they're seeking something from you. So they placate you. And
Mhm.
so many times, Brandy, what they're doing is they're living in a world where they want to take something from you, or they want to control you. And, you know, honesty is designed to question the contradiction between words and behavior. And, I'll listen to everything you say to me, but what I will study is your behavior, because
Actions we learn
that's
the
where
world,
I'll
right?
go there.
Mm.
Yeah.
Very true. That's like someone is saying that they love you. Oh, I love you. I love you. You can say it to your blue in the face, but you might think you mean it. But if you're not showing, the act, your is the opposite, then it's like, well, it doesn't really look like it. It's supposed
Yeah.
people think if they say it that has power.
Brandy, words are empty until they're filled with behavior. I can tell you anything I want to tell you, and but until I demonstrate it to you through my behavior, it's shallow, it's empty, and many times it's me playing with you. And if you want to know what a person really thinks about you or what their real agenda is, because all behavior has an agenda. And if you really want to know that, you look at the behavior. I would believe that during your lifetime so far, you've had people who have created confusion for you because they've said one thing, and then you open your eyes and you look, and what they're saying is being contradicted by their behavior.
Yeah, yeah,
So you
definitely.
you lose trust, and when you lose trust, um, everything resolves in a world then of conflict and confusion.
Very true. I agree. I definitely agree. That and like you said, and it doesn't really matter, right? If it's good or bad, it's intention. So if if it's good intention or bad intentions by the behavior of what that person wants from you, because everything's with intent. Like you want something, you want to be with somebody, you have intentions, you want to make her your wife, whatever it is, or intention. But if they're good, bad, that's what the behavior will show.
Yeah, I just finished up this past weekend. Every year on Valentine's weekend, I do a couples retreat.
Cool.
And so we just finished up our couples retreat yesterday. And one of the things we were talking about yesterday morning, Sunday morning, was the difference between someone who takes and someone who brings.
Mm.
And if someone is taking from you, first of all, they don't respect you. Second of all, they have an agenda that's designed to steal from you. But if someone is bringing something to your life, then what they're doing is they're adding to your life through the quality of their presence. And they do that because they care. They do that because they respect. They do that because they want you to feel, both with words and behavior, you know, what their real agenda, their real intent is. Uh, and we live in a world today, Brandy, that seems to be more interested in taking than bringing.
I completely agree. I was talking about that earlier, just like everybody's, just like so much lack of understanding, and it's about what they think or what they want, and it's without considering the other people or anybody else is going through. It's like me, 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 me. And I don't know anybody anywhere else because I only reside here of my life in America, but it's very, really embedded deeply here in the United States. I was like, man, we just really just really kind of spoiled rotten a little bit.
Yeah. Brandy, I was talking with a guy the other day, and we were talking about being selfish. And I am a very selfish person, but I understand the difference between mature selfishness and immature selfishness. And immature selfishness says, hey, Brandy, you got something I want, and I'm going to figure out how to take it from you. And then once I get from you what I want, majority of the time, I'm going to throw you to the curb. But mature selfishness says this: I must continually improve myself so that when I walk into Brandy's life, I can bring her something better. I can offer her opportunity because I'm growing, I'm increasing my understanding of me, and I'm going to bring value to every life that I touch. And the challenge I have with that, and People take me to task with this, but over
Mhm.
my years, I've learned this. Only 2% of people really want to improve their life. 2%. The rest of people want to have an excuse. They want to blame. They want justification. They want to have their reason why things aren't. But if you come right down to it, all of life is really about two things: the choices you make and the behavior that you bring to that choice.
That is so powerful, because I was just thinking in the same space earlier today about people just not wanting to do the work, excuses, like not knowing anything. You don't know your history. You don't know this. You don't want to learn that. They lied to us. That's what I've been dealing with a lot when it comes to when I try to share stuff, because I'm a little bit of a nerd. And it's like, I mean, you can't keep saying you didn't learn it, because you got access to the internet and all these things. And if you want to know what you should know, you got to educate yourself. So I was kind of, when you said that, it just really registered with that, because I just felt like maybe I should just be quiet. Maybe it's me. Yeah, that was helping.
Well, as humans, we either live from our mind down, our emotions up. And what I see today in our country is that we're spending more time living from our emotions up, because our country today seems to be driven by uncertainty. Let me put this out there, and I hope it resonates with your audience. There are only two foundations that you and I can live on. And the purpose of a foundation is to create a platform on which we stand.
Hmm.
And the first platform is one where we stand on belief, trust, and faith. The second platform is where we stand on doubt, worry, and uncertainty. And I challenge any of your audience, if you can think of a third platform, you let me know. But I've studied and researched and looked, and it's the only two platforms that I see that people can stand on. And the challenge is, if you doubt, it erodes belief. If you worry, it takes away trust. If you live in uncertainty, there's no faith. And when I see a life that's driven by doubt, worry, and uncertainty, I see a life that is living from the outside in. And it's letting the circumstances, it's letting the environment, it's letting the others in their life take control of their life. And God did not put you and I on this earth to be a carbon copy. He brought us here to be an original.
Yep.
And to be an original, I got to have that foundation of belief.
Yeah.
And I have that belief in God, and I have that belief in me. And I gotta be a person of trust. And I've got to see the unknown as adventure, not as a dark cave not to go into. And
Yeah.
I got to have the faith to step forward. People ask me all the time, how do you define success? Success to me is real easy. It's every day putting one foot in front of the other.
Mm.
That's what it is. And success is not things, because success is a feeling.
Yes.
And it concerns me today, because I think we're slowly moving from belief, trust, and faith to doubt, worry, and uncertainty. And
Oh.
Brandy, I'm going to get you in trouble.
Go ahead. I won't get trouble.
I believe that with every agenda, there's an agenda behind the agenda.
Mm.
And I think what we're seeing as leadership today, they're here and they're saying one thing, but beyond that agenda, the agenda that I see that is slowly eroding the fabric of our country is that agenda where they want to break the human spirit.
Mm-hmm.
They want to take
Yellow the head.
they want to take away from us our beliefs.
Yep.
You know what? I don't listen to anybody who thinks they know more about what's right for my life than I do. And
Exactly.
they're going to superimpose their will on me. That's not their right.
At all. People allow it. Richard, I don't understand why I haven't met you before. I just feel like you're in my head. So I said too, and people accept this stuff. They think that they're powerless, or like these people. What can we do? They have the right. They do this all the time. I'm like, no, they do what you allow them to do to you.
Well,
You
see,
know, nobody stops them, and they're going to keep doing this. Is what they do. But they sit at home while you're somewhere, and they make plans for your life and tell you what you're going to do with your body. They don't ask us anything. They don't include us. We're a part of this, but we have to look at ourselves. We can't really keep pointing the fingers at them, because it's like, well, what are you going to do about it? And that's when everybody has everything else to say, and then I'm crapped on. You can't save anybody. I'm like, but that's not an excuse not to try. you
yeah.
know, I
And
don't get it. That's how I
well,
find it to be a cop out.
yeah, isn't it amazing that you can't find anywhere anyone that will tell you what's in this COVID shot that they're giving us?
Right. That everybody put in them.
Yeah, but we got to take it, and we're denying the body its own immune system.
hmm
I mean, I think when God created this body, He created it that if we take care of it, it'll take care of us.
Exactly. He knew what he was doing. But up until you don't. And see, that's what's happening here. We put all this stuff in it that doesn't, then things start not acting right. Like when you put the wrong gas in the car, and then it's like, ugh. But that's what's been happening to us, and nobody gets it.
Well, the avenue that's being used today, and this is me. I'm not talking for anybody else. I'm talking for me. The avenue that I see being used today is they've taken fear and they've turned it into fright.
Oof.
I mean, fear is a healthy emotion when you control it, because fear under control will slow you down. And fear under control allows you to breathe and see what is. But when fear becomes fright, you and I emotionally speed up.
Yeah.
And when we emotionally speed up, then we give ourselves to the outside. And what's happening out there today is they're wanting all of us to live from the outside in.
hmm
Believe me, believe what I'm saying. I know what's best for you. And follow the science. But my question is, whose science are they following? They're making
Yeah.
up their own science.
Yep. They can't even explain it to you. The whole time, no one, not even the man, the Mr. Doctor, popularity, that can never tell a complete, you can't tell the truth. He beats around, but I don't understand why people even still ask him questions. Like, he lies and then tells you he lies, and like, you're messing with people's lives. But I think that we should demand transparency from these people. Like, you want me to do this? Then you tell me why. And we don't do that. We just be like, okay. And I find that to be ridiculous, especially with the children. I'm really kind of disappointed in American people and people in general. Because if we're supposed to be like caretakers and leaders of our homes, protectors of our families, and this is how we're doing it, man, oh man. If you want me to do something, then you have to tell me why. This is my body, and that's how we should treat it. And people are scared to do that, to stand up, because whatever the repercussions may be. Well, I mean,
Well, part of that fear today are the repercussions that they can dump on you if you go against what they're saying. And again, what have they done? They've created this fear. One of the couples at our couples retreat was talking about a friend of theirs who has a little girl, and the little girl is 12, and she won't go anywhere without a mask because
mhm.
she's fearful, because she believes everything she's been told, that if she takes that mask off, she's going to die.
Oh my god,
And I watch what they're doing with kids. I watch this. Kids need other kids. They need socialization skills.
yeah,
And they don't need to sit and look at a computer all day. They don't need to spend all their time playing computer games. They need to be with other kids. And what we're going to see probably in 10 to 12 years is going to be a disaster when it comes to people interacting with people.
Yeah. Yeah. You got the metaverse now, so now that's going, and that concerns me because people are already, and then you take that reality and you put them back out in the real world, and all the mental games, the cognitive dissonance, and then to me, I just feel like it's gonna something really nasty, and it's gonna cause us to hurt one another, to fear one another, and to destroy one another.
Well, I believe, Brandy, that from the day you were born to the day you die, you're going to live your life through having to deal with 6 fears. And I'm watching these today play out. The fear of the unknown. This is huge today because part of this fear that's being thrown at us is through the unknown. And that unknown, they're making the big bad boogeyman. And you just know no one's listening to what isn't being said because they're fearful based on what is being said.
Yeah.
There's the fear of abandonment, being left alone.
Mm.
And I think again, as we pull people away from people, there is that fear of abandonment. There's the fear of failure. You know, uh, I got to play by someone else's rules. The fear of rejection. If I don't play by the rules, they're not going to like me. The fear of loss. With everything you and I want to do with our life, there's a price tag. And we only go as far in life as we're willing to pay the price. And then there's the fear of success that I got to now stay within this box. If you take away my spirit, you take away my entrepreneurial spirit. And if you take away my spirit, then you leave me with doubt, worry, and uncertainty. And when you break the spirit of people, that's when people become emotionally vulnerable. And what's happening right now, Brandy, it concerns me.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Yeah. And to me, I don't, like you said, I might get myself in trouble here too, but I don't see anything being a problem in this world right now but them. I don't know what they're talking about, but they are the ones causing the chaos and the mess with people's mental health and playing psychological games, putting in the house. All these things are, like you said, are messing with those very things that makes a human being, and you're breaking them, and that causes chaos and your mental health that some people already have. Suicide rates have went up for kids, like from 2020 until to now. They're still happening with bullying and then just this, the separation and not knowing what's going on. And they're listening to these idiots out here, saying you're gonna die if you don't take your mask off. And it's really it's pissing me off. To be honest with you, it really is. I'm mad at the people, the parents, and everybody because I expect that from them.
Yeah.
Hoping
You're in California, right?
yeah.
You live in the state of the undefinables.
I don't even know. To be honest with you, it's crazy when people ask me. I'm like, I live here, and you guys seem to know more than I know. I would love to know what it looks like on the outside looking in. What's going on in California? Because every
Hey,
state has something going.
I'm seeing us in Florida. Our governor here is, he believes in letting people be people.
The DeSantis, right?
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah. And, we're open and, it's your choice whether you wear the mask or not. No one's going to mandate it. And, they say he's a rebel and that he's dangerous.
Yeah.
You
You're
know
trying to
what?
kill your kids if he doesn't wear that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Very
But
divisive words.
yeah, I look at your state and I look at all the contradictions that are there. And you know what, Brandy? If we could get politics out of all of this,
poof.
It would
So
make
fair.
life so much easier, but we got people playing God with our life. And it doesn't make sense what they're doing. But it's all about power and control.
Yeah. And the crazier it gets too. And I'm just, somebody keeps saying something to somebody to see eventually when they're gonna have enough, and they'll say the most craziest things. They'll be like, "Yeah, they're still going." Like didn't they just pass something? Was it where you are? And I think I heard today in a state where they passed a bill to where, because the whole critical race theory thing. So now it's you can't make any white people uncomfortable. And then the other one was I forgot what the other one was. I think it still had to do with CRT, but something about because not wanting to make the white children feel like they feel guilty, but these are bills they're like putting in place, and I just want to go around just tap them all softly in their foreheads and just say that doesn't make any sense. Stop calling it critical race theory because it confuses people, and just call it what it is. Teach history, teach it correctly. If you're sincere about it, tell these children the truth. They won't feel guilt if you tell them the truth and help them through it. Your intentions, you want them to feel guilt. And then the flip side, Rich, they don't really want them to know what horrid things they did either. They're ashamed, but
Well, it's dangerous to work to erase history because history is our reference library.
yeah.
And, you know, has have all of us done things that probably were wrong, but in the time that they lived in it, it was okay.
Yeah.
And rather than continuing to focus on that, let's talk about how far we've come. You know, the book I'm working on right now is entitled "So What's Your Excuse?"
Mm.
Because we live in a world where excuses have become acceptable. And as long as no one challenges my excuse, it must be right. One of my top 3 philosophies of life that I teach is that anything you don't confront, you validate. Anything in life you don't confront, you validate. So
Mm.
you've got behaviors that I know are wrong, but I don't say anything to you about it. I just let you go that way. And then at one point I come to you and I go, Brandy, this isn't right. And you don't have any idea what I'm talking about because I've given you permission to be that.
Mm.
And we've got to come to the place where we understand that if we're not helping people to improve,
Right.
we're trapping them. And we're trapping them in a life that's less than what they could have.
Yeah. But it's not anybody's responsibility. They'll give you that excuse. Not my responsibility. Not my responsibility. But they'll open their mouth in a heartbeat to say something negative about somebody else and all these other things. So why not do something? Say, so if you're gonna speak, then say like my grandma likes to say, you don't have nothing nice to say, don't say anything at all. you know, just
Yeah.
bring value to someone. No, then
You
just
know, don't blame me for your life. It's your choice. There's always a pathway to improvement. But to improve, you got to be honest with yourself. To improve, you've got to want something beyond where you are and to be true to yourself.
yes.
You've got to feed your desire, your determination and your discipline to rise above where you are.
Yeah.
Any life can improve if that's what they really want. Let me just share this with your listeners. I think life is built on 5 questions.
I was gonna get to that. Ask you those because
Yeah. And I think these 5 questions are the questions of life. And they come in one order. You can't change them. Question number 1: what do you really want for your life? Not what do you want? That's shallow. But what do you really want for your life? Number 2: why do you really want that? What's the motivation? What's the drive? Why do you really want that for your life? Then question number 3: What price are you willing to pay to have it? Because that's where all of a sudden the rubber meets the road. And then question number 4, what behaviors will I have to improve in order to achieve that? And then the 5th question, before you take any step in life, you take a deep breath because that slows you down emotionally. And you ask yourself, is what I'm about to do going to feed my confusion or strengthen my clarity? Is it going to allow me to step forward or to step backwards? And I think those are the questions that we need to pose in front of people today.
Yeah, nobody's asking the right questions, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what's interesting? You give me 10 people who are going to make a decision, and they're dealing with this confusion and clarity. 8 out of the 10 will choose confusion because it gives them a justification for not doing anything.
Oh, preach! You said it. You said it. What is that about, Rich? Because that's what I see excuses as. It's like you just don't want to do, you know, to do it. Like, and I don't want to like say people are cowards or anything like that. I'm just like, well, thank God that some people that did get us to where we are now, some people were willing to make a change and stand out and put their life on the line, but willing to do something versus making excuses to not do anything.
Well, there's an element in our country today that's trying to erase certain words out of our vocabulary. Accountability. Isn't it amazing where no one has to be accountable for what they did? Why? Because the devil made me do it. No, you chose to do it. They're trying to erase the word integrity, where I live by a code of ethics. And every day as you see me and you watch me, my behavior defines my code of ethics. And then, Brandy, I think they're trying to take God out of our society
Oh yeah, most definitely.
because,
Definitely.
you know, that's where belief, trust, and faith comes from. So if I can remove God, and then I think they're trying to remove the healthiness of family out of our society. I think they're working real diligently. And for a person on a school board to say, you know, your child shouldn't listen to you, they should listen to us, the school system,
Right.
because we know what's right. You know what? Those people should be removed almost instantly.
Yep. They were, here, I don't know if you heard, I think it was further north in LA, and they passed it. They could vaccinate your child without your permission, and your child don't have to tell you. They don't have to tell you. And I was trying to figure out why nobody was losing their mind. I don't mean like lose their mind, but I mean, come on. We didn't walk around and slap people for less. And they're that to me,
Well,
that there's no words that can define how disrespectful and low
yeah,
that
but
is.
it's about those 2 words. I have the power to control your life. And that's what I see today from the top of this country down. I have the power to control your life.
Mm. And there's nothing like American about that. You know what I mean? Like we're supposed to be this country that supposed to be so prideful and this great place. And it's like, well, where is it? Because the very people, the public servants, because that's what they are. They're the very ones. There's no outsiders. We're being done by insiders. Like your own people, and people. And we're not uproared. We're just going to sit here and just act like this is normal. That concerns me because in these times right now, the separating they've done from about from our race and gender and everything. This is that pivotal point where we really got to put that aside. Not one of us can do this. Two of us. It takes all of us to do it.
You know, Brandy, when I look at you, I don't see a black woman. I see one of God's children. And, we're pushing this racial divide and we're teaching it. In grade school and middle school and high school and college, we're teaching hatred. And we're not teaching what a person needs in order to succeed. We're breaking them. And we're filling their minds with all kind of negative information.
Yeah.
And somehow we've got to awaken from this coma that we're in. And we've got to stand and say, enough is enough. Exclamation point.
Yeah. That's why I'm figuring in my head. I'm like, when is enough? Enough? Like, come on. If you don't do it for you, do it for your children. Because we're not always going to be here. It's up to us to lay the foundation. Because if we fail, it was all for nothing. We fail. You fail. Then what? Now what? So just go ahead and look to the left and tell your child, be like, sorry, mommy and daddy didn't want to, do the right thing. So we're just going to pass you along into this indoctrination here and let the cycle continue. Hopefully it doesn't get worse. You're welcome. Because that's what you're giving up on them, because they have to still be here. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I think that everything you said from point A to point B, you're right on point. I feel the same way. I've been thinking the same thing. But see, people like you and I, which we make perfect sense, we'd be looked at as crazy because we make sense. This is they don't make sense. They don't make sense.
But this is where they've now got their word, domestic terrorist. If you don't agree with them, then you're a domestic terrorist because you're fighting against freedom. No, I'm fighting for freedom. I'm fighting for the right to be me without you coming and telling me this is who you are, this is what you can have, this is what you're going to do, and stop thinking for yourself. No.
Yep, very true.
Brandy, can I share with your listeners just a couple of the other things that we're doing?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. Well, like I said, every Friday, 10 a.m. Eastern time, we have our open mic. And then once a month on Saturday, I do a virtual seminar. It's live.
Oh, cool.
And like it's coming up this coming Saturday. And for the first 6 months of this year, all of my topics are about strengthening some aspect of your life. Like our topic for this coming Saturday is strengthening your relationships. How do we surround our life with people who are there to help us grow, not keep us locked in yesterday? And it's at 10 a.m. on Saturday morning, and it's just richardflint.com/discussion. And no, I'm sorry, that's wrong. That's the Friday. It's richardflint.com/live.
Okay. I'll definitely put that on the website and in the notes.
Yeah. And then in May 19 through 23, I'm doing my next small group retreat. All my retreats today are limited to 15 people. And there we're going to talk about leadership. And on the Friday session, we're going to redefine 11 terms that are being used against us today, and they're not what leadership is about. And then on Saturday, I'm going to talk about the 4 behaviors that are self-destructive. And then what happens when we don't confront these 4 behaviors and the destruction it can create. And then as a leader, what do we need to be paying attention to? And then on Sunday morning, I'm going to talk about the face of the exceptional leader. It's no longer about being good. It's no longer about being great. It's about being exceptional. And
Um,
exceptional is every day seeking to be better than you were yesterday.
yes.
And if people go to my website, richardflint.com, if they'd also check out the Morning Minute, this is something I created, Brandy, going on, I think now 12 years, where every morning you turn on your computer and I'm there face to face with you for 60 seconds. And in those 60 seconds, I give you one of my philosophies of life and a piece of wisdom to take you through the day. Every month is a different philosophy, is a different theme. Like this month, our theme is connections. And every day is a different message and a different piece of wisdom. And you and I live together for 365 days. And every day, I'm going to put something in front of you for you to think around our theme. And it's on the website, richardflint.com.
I
And
definitely will post that.
yeah,
Yeah.
I hope your listeners will go just look at it and view it.
Oh, they will. I'll make sure you're doing the work that it takes, and that's what we all should do to help change, and strengthen people to be better leaders, because no one's doing that, because that's not the example. And by doing that, you're showing people how to help themselves versus just look to the same people that aren't helping them. And so I definitely, I'll be there. Well, I'm getting off. We get off here, but yeah, most definitely.
Yeah, I have 16 laws, not principles or thoughts. I have 16 laws that I live my life by. And my number one law is this: I want to live every day to create a positive presence that has presence when I'm not present.
And I had this here because that stood out to me. I kept repeating it over. There's a few P's in there, like that. When you say that, what does that mean to you, Richard?
I'm sorry.
When you say that, what does that mean for you?
It means that I want every day to bring a presence of value where I can help people achieve three things. I want you to be better. There's always more. I want you to be smarter, not just in book knowledge, but in life experience where you can create that wisdom from life. And then I want you to be stronger. I want you to be strong enough because you are willing to stand on that foundation of belief, trust, and faith. And that's my crusade. I've had this crusade for basically 35 years now. Is that's what I want. I want you to be able to have a legacy of presence that, and you have it and I have it. I would imagine there have been people that have come through your life that are a big part of whom you are today. Some of them may not even be alive, but they still talk to you in your head. That's the presence that has presence when you're not present.
Mm, I love it. I love it. That's amazing. I'm all for everything you said, and I think that those things that you said right there, you can't go wrong with
No,
it. You can't go wrong with it. Can't go wrong with it. Having this your strength and your ethics and your mentality, your mindset. How often have you gotten more positive results from dealing with people, or more in negative? And I ask that because a lot of people, when you hear good stuff, you seem to act like somebody just slapped you in the face with something, and you're like, I don't get it. So, well, like, is that true? Like, usually when you lay positivity on people, do you usually get more negative?
Brandy, that's a great question because when I started this journey of speaking, because I wear three hats. I speak to groups all over the world. I write books, and then I work as a private mentor to a select group of people every year, and I handpick who I work with. And I am there, for lack of better terminology, I am their coach for 1 year of their life. And whatever they're dreaming in their life, I take them to their dream. And then probably 15 years of working at this level, I've only worked with one person who didn't reach their dream. And that was because fright took over their life. Because dreaming is healthy, but it can also be frightening if you're not willing to pay the price to do it. But my commitment every day of my life is I want to improve internally so that I can have that positive presence externally. And it doesn't come easy. Like I told you before, I think that only 2% of the people whose presence I stand in front of will ever use anything that I teach to improve their life.
Man,
That's sad, Brandy. When you think about that, that's sad.
you think that all comes from just that fright.
Yep.
Oh,
But this is your life. It's your life to design. It's your life to choose. It's your life to live. I get people all the time who want to fight with me over this statement. But you are exactly in your life where you choose to be.
mm,
Other people have opinions. Other people may tell you what you need to do. But bottom line, it's your choice. Your choice. And so don't you blame me. Don't you make me the reason you don't have the life you talk about having. When I was 16, Brandy, my adopted parents gave me a suitcase and left me on a street corner. And from the age of 16 forward, I have been on my own. And I've had every right to go over and lay in the corner and suck my thumb and blame my adopted parents for what happened. But I had a choice. Let them rule my life with what they said. Because every day, my adopted mother would make one of three statements to me. You're the stupidest kid I've ever met. You'll never do anything in your life, or the one that would rip my heart out. I'm sorry we ever adopted you.
goodness.
My greatest day will be the day when you're no longer in my house.
Mm.
And think of yourself being 16 years of age and left on a street corner. And all you got is a suitcase. And I had to make a choice. And I chose that yesterday for me would not be a hostage situation, but that yesterday for me would become a world where every day I could learn about me from the inside out and become better, become smarter, become stronger, and achieve in life what I want to achieve. And that's to have that positive presence that is present when I'm not present. And that's what I would wish for your listeners.
Definitely, I know they appreciate it. You have such a powerful message and story, and I mean, you can't go wrong with it. It's this is needed right now, especially since last almost 2 years. People need it, even if they don't know it. We have been torn down, been all this chaos, one thing after another since this hit, and this is the time. Right now, people need to hear these things because they are broken down, even if they don't think they are.
Because we're being handed doubt, worry, and uncertainty, not belief, trust, and faith.
Not one time.
Yeah.
Mm.
This has been fun, Brandy.
Yes, it has been. And thank you. Thank goodness for people like you and keep doing what you're doing. And I'm definitely coming over to open mic and all that. And I definitely will pass the word around. And you're welcome here anytime. Thank you so much.
Okay, young lady, you take care of yourself.
You too. See you next time.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye, Brandy.